thank you for the lovely introduction. Good evening, everyone. I hope all the mothers had a beautiful Mother's Day back in May, and happy Father's Day to all the dads here. And thank you so much for the lovely introduction, and thank you to the organizers for creating this beautiful space where people of all ages can come and enjoy, create, grow, and connect. And it's really an honor for me to be here tonight, and thank you for the invitation. So in the presentation, நான் இங்கிலீஷ்ல தான் சொல்ல போறேன். யாருக்காவது தமிழ்ல ஃபியூச்சர்ல சொல்லணும்னு சொன்னா அதையும் செய்யலாம். And by the way, நான் ninja அது இது எனக்கு அதொன்னும் தெரியாது. Okay. So for those of you who don't know a lot about me, I wear a few hats. I work full time. I run a coaching and hypnotherapy business. I run a household, a family, and I'm a Murugan devotee. My business is called Upbringing My Coaching, and I help people shift the way they think and believe so that they can create more clarity, confidence, calm, joy, and abundance in their lives. So tonight I want to share a few powerful lessons that truly changed how I think and how I live. I call this talk What I Learned About the Mind That Changed Everything for Me. So today let's explore how your mind actually works, how your thoughts, beliefs, and even fears actually quietly shape your results in your life. I'll walk you through a few simple ideas, share some quotes that I really love, and hopefully give you a new way to look at yourself and your potential. And I'll be honest, I only learned about how our mind really works in my 40s. And ever since, I've had one thought that keeps coming back to me quite often. I wish I had known this earlier. So that's why I'm very passionate about sharing this information with others, especially young people, because mindset isn't just for when you are in a problematic situation. It's for building the life that feels calm, clear, and confident from the inside out. So, the mind has two parts, and one of them is called, there are many parts, but two main parts. One is called conscious, and the other is called subconscious. Perhaps you've heard of this. So to illustrate, think of it like an iceberg. The small part above the surface is your conscious mind. That's the part that thinks, plans, sets goals, etc. It's called the logical mind. But the much bigger part beneath the surface is your subconscious mind. And this is where your beliefs, your emotions, your habits, and even your identity live. So your conscious mind might say, I want to speak confidently. Oh, I want to do well in school. But if your subconscious is still holding on to a different belief, that belief usually wins. For example, let's say someone is about to speak on stage or even sing here tonight. If their belief is, I've got something worth sharing, their belief is, it's okay to have fun and not be perfect, they'll probably go up there with some nerves, but also with excitement, and they will likely do pretty good. But if their belief is, what if I mess up? Or people might laugh at me. Then their body responds with anxiety or hesitation. So, let's look at another example. Let's say a student getting ready for an exam. If their belief is, I can figure this out, one step at a time, they will feel calmer and more motivated, and they'll likely do well on the exam. But if their belief is, I'm just not good at this, even opening the book can feel heavy. Not because we're lazy, but because the subconscious is already expecting failure. The good news, though, is that these beliefs aren't fixed, they're just patterns. And patterns can be changed with awareness, repetition, and belief. So I want to kind of talk to you about one of the jobs of our brain. This is something else that really opened my eyes. The brain's number one job is not to make you successful. Let me repeat that. Your brain's number one job is not to make you successful, it is to keep you safe. But here's the thing. The part of our brain that's responsible for fear and protection hasn't changed much in thousands of years. It was built to help us survive in a very different world, a world where danger meant physical threats, wild animals, hunger, and being outcast from the tribe. So while the world around us has changed dramatically, our brain is still operating with the same old wiring or coding, designed more for cave life than for the modern challenges that we face today. That's why something like speaking in public or raising a hand in class or trying something new can feel uncomfortable, even though there is no real danger. So you agree with that, right? So to the brain, unfamiliar equals unsafe. It can't always tell the difference between a life-threatening situation and a moment of emotional risk. So it reacts the same way. Let's stay quiet, let's stay safe, and let's not take that chance. And that's how we get stuck. Not because we're lazy or unmotivated, because our brain is just doing exactly what it was built to do, just in the wrong context. In fact, studies show that about 95% of our thoughts and behaviors are driven by the subconscious mind. Only about 5% of the time we are actually making conscious, intentional decisions. So the challenge isn't that our brain is bad, it's just that it hasn't evolved to keep up with the modern life. But now that you know this, you can lead it instead of letting it lead you. So before I share my favorite quotes, I want to ask you to consider this. What if your current reality is actually a reflection of your inner beliefs? Beliefs about money, your grades, how good you're at sports, your ability to cook, speak, sing, even how lovable or successful you think you are. These all live in the subconscious and they shape how we show up every single day. So if you've been telling yourself, I'm not good at public speaking, or I'll never be able to save money, your mind starts to accept that as truth. But if you start to feed your mind something new, even slightly, everything begins to shift. So the first quote I want to share with you is by Bob Proctor, my mentor and teacher, and he loved saying, thoughts become things. Think a thought often enough and your subconscious accepts it. Once it accepts it, your brain and your actions begin to reflect it. The second quote that I love is by Henry Ford. He said, whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. Belief doesn't guarantee success, but it creates the conditions for success to even be possible. It opens the door or closes it before you've even started. Your mind will always believe everything that you tell it. Feed it hope, feed it truth, feed it with love. I don't know who said it, but I like it. So your mind listens all the time. So what are you telling it? A story of fear or a story of strength? You've probably heard people say things like, mindset is everything, or believe in yourself. But let's be honest, sometimes those can sound a bit vague or even like anti-motivation. I hope that after tonight, those words feel a little more real, because once you understand how your mind works, how beliefs are formed, and how your subconscious influences your actions, you start to see that mindset isn't just a slogan, it's a system, and you can learn to work with it. And let me pick up my 2 slides that I dropped. Perfect timing. That's about it for my presentation. Hopefully, I haven't put you to sleep, unless I just have a few more things to say, unless you needed that rest, in which case you're welcome. If anything I shared tonight made you think differently or feel curious about your own mindset, I invite you to connect with me. My business is called Upgrade Your Mind Coaching. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I have a few business cards if anybody wants to grab one. And if you want to explore more, I have a free training called What Are Your Beliefs Costing You? It's a short, practical video, and it's a great way to start understanding about limiting beliefs. Awareness is the first step to creating empowering beliefs. So you can find the training link on my socials. And thank you all for being such kind and open-hearted audience. And it's truly an honor to have spoken here tonight. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the invitation. Have a lovely evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Yamini. It was nice sharing this space with you.